What's up, guys? I'm back with another league racing video. Today we've got Silverstone. As you can see, qualifying is in the rain. Fortunately, the race is not in the rain, as you will see, but qualifying was an interesting test of just kind of figuring out how to drive this track in the wet, because I definitely did not practice driving it in the wet before this race. So certainly an adventure. You'll see where I qualify. I'll just show you the whole full qualifying lap that I ended on, which was actually, I thought, pretty good. I mean, I did, I guess, 3 laps in the wet during qualifying, and actually felt decently comfortable by the end. I mean, I was never going to compete for pole or anything, but honestly felt pretty comfortable on the intermediate tires. And obviously you can see some people doing full wets, which maybe would have paid off. Not quite sure. But anyway, as I said, this is a Silverstone. Our first race was at Las Vegas, and with no line and no ABS, I think it was a bit of an adventure for a lot of the people driving, especially as that was the league's first race with no line and no ABS. So it was a bit messy at times, but I think it's good that Silverstone is a track that we've all driven before. We've all probably done league races on, so I think everybody's a little more familiar with the track, which means hopefully it's a little cleaner, not as messy. But also I think it will be a tougher race just because it's a track that I've driven before, but and it's a track that others have driven before too. So I think everybody's probably on better footing here than they would have been at another track like Las Vegas or Qatar that we have next. So you see there, I got P9, pretty good. I was happy with that. I think I want to say we had 14 drivers, so P9 out of 14, I'm fine with that. Better than I qualified last race, and it gives me a decent shot to maybe have a good race here. So on to the beginning of the race. I am on the mediums. Guys behind me are on the hards. Couple people on the softs and the mediums in front as well. But my strategy here, as always, is just try to keep it as clean as possible. And I'm planning to go medium hard in this race, but that could be changed by a safety car or anything that might occur. But I'm in P8 going in, finishing up the first sector, which I'm fine with. Joshua Steinberg kind of jumps in front of me there a little bit, kind of put me out a little bit and maybe cost me a little bit of time, but I don't think it made a drastic difference at any point. Incident is in front of me on the mediums. He is typically faster than I am, but I'm hoping that I can stay with him until we get to the DRS range, or until DRS is enabled, and I can stay within DRS range and hopefully get pulled along a little bit and maybe make my way up to the front of the pack if at all possible. As it currently stands, we've got Pilot behind me, Turtle Commander behind him, both on the hards. So I think they're probably going hard medium, whereas I'm going medium hard. I will be interested to see what some of the guys who are on softs do. Like Joshua Steinberg is obviously pretty quick at the moment, but those softs are not going to last a very long time. Is this a two-stop strategy? Is this a soft to hard strategy? Is this a soft to medium strategy? Which, frankly, I think is probably not going to be that possible, just given how high the tire wear is in this game. And it felt pretty high at Silverstone too. I mean, I think all factors lead to this being pretty high tire wear. But Pilot is obviously pretty close behind me. Incident, I'm sort of managing to stay within a second, but ultimately I don't think that I could. He kind of jumped out to a lead. But you see here, fast forward a bit to lap 4, and Incident is off track. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was a spin. I don't know if he made contact with somebody or what, but it does give me the opportunity to take the place, even if I don't really think that I'm going to be able to hold it for very long. And you fast forward a bit here to the next DRS zone, and we're already in a position where it looks like he's probably going to be getting pretty close to me pretty soon. I mean, he's down to 4/10 behind me. I just think he had better pace than I did, and if you look at the laps after the race, I think that is pretty clear that is true, which of course we will do when we get there. But for the moment, I'm doing okay. P7 out of 14, and might get past here, but I'm running pretty consistently, not the fastest laps in the world. We almost went side by side there through Maggots and Beckett's. Fortunately, he gave me space, and he gets past me pretty easily, but that could have been a lot worse than it probably was. But I think we were both smart about it, and I didn't go full bore into the corner or anything like that, which I think prevented us from making contact as well. So that was good, and we have some more wheel-to-wheel racing later in the race too. I mean, I always enjoy racing with him. I think it's very respectful and good racing, intelligent racing, which is always fun. So kudos to that, I guess. Had a really nice time. But we are finishing lap 6 here. I'm down to P8. Turtle Commander looks like he might be catching up with me, but hopefully I can stay within range of incident. But yes, fast forward. Lap 7, we get a safety car as Lord Tigritti has some sort of DNF. I don't know exactly what happened, but we're on a safety car here, and a dilemma was introduced because this is earlier than I planned to pit for the hards. And my engineer pops up and says, let's do a 2-stop medium, soft, medium strategy, which to me, I thought, okay, that makes a lot of sense. We're going to restart on the softs. I'm going to make up a ton of places. They're going to die off. I'm going to get on the mediums, and I think it's going to be ultimately a faster strategy than either not pitting under safety car, because I think I would have gotten absolutely gapped by people as soon as we restarted, people who had pitted, or the alternative of pitting there and trying to take the hards to the end, because I don't think those tires would have been usable by the end for me personally. I'm just experiencing a lot of really high tire wear in this game. It seemed like a non-starter. We will see how that pans out. There are obviously quite a few drivers around me who are doing some variation of medium to hard. For instance, Incident in front of me was on the mediums with me, is now on the hards. I fully expect him to do a 1-stop medium to hard. Pilot, I think, was already on the hards. Joshua Steinberg started on the softs, is now on the hards. But you can kind of see my strategy working out a little bit here as I got past Incident pretty easily. I get past Pilot there. I feel like I've got great grip, and I know this is not going to last forever, but for this first lap or two, I think I'm in a really good place, and I'm just going to be able to make up a lot of places and a lot of time on everybody around me. The concern, of course, is those tires are not going to last very long, and within a couple laps, they'll be no better than the mediums and no better than the hards. So I really feel like I have to kind of make up as many places as I can. You see me get past Freaky Petey there. It looks like I'm past him, or he might get in front of me. Oh, yeah, just a little bump, and I go off track there. I don't know. I don't think that I didn't report that. I don't think that was penalty worthy. I mean, it was just a little bump. I ended up getting past him anyway. There's no damage to me, but it definitely cost me at least a tiny bit of time there. So fast forward a bit. Turtle Commander spins there, so that's how I made up a place to P7. We are on lap 13 here. I've been on these softs now for 6 laps. Probably 2 of those were safety car laps, and currently I'm running pretty well. This is working out nicely for me. I'm up to P6, not much behind my teammate, but of course I'm gonna have to pit again, and it looks like he's going 1-stop medium to hard. So it is unclear at this point if my strategy is going to work. Maybe anybody who's done 50% league races on Silverstone, maybe you know how this is going to work, but Incident is pretty quickly catching up with me. So he's in the DRS range there. He gets DRS. He gets past me. This is what I was talking about. We're going wheel to wheel through here. I think this was great racing. I go a little wide here, just a little bit of understeer. Tried not to push him off track. I think I may have a little bit, but he was aware that I was on his right, and he was fine there. But obviously these guys are catching me on their hards. So this was kind of the point where I was like, uh-oh, this is not going great. That was a cute little switch back by Incident there, and Joshua Steinberg takes advantage as well. I think I just went a little wide, and again, I was losing grip at this point. This is 7 or 8 laps on the softs. If I'm not mistaken, I think that I pit this lap because they were kind of cooked, and Incident and Joshua Steinberg getting past me was pretty clear indicator. Yeah, it wasn't that lap. It's the next lap. But lap 15 here, I do actually manage to stay within range of Joshua Steinberg. I don't know how much that was me, being able to stay with him, and how much was that was him making errors. He kind of appears to let me by here. You can see him kind of let off a little early. That was like the 150 marker. I can't think that was the natural braking. I mean, it looked like he was kind of defending, but also kind of just letting me go. So I'm not quite sure what that was exactly. I have to find it difficult to say that I passed him on merit, but I did certainly get past him. You see me go into the pits here for my second stop of the race, and I get a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And I watched it back, and I was like 1 or 2 miles per hour over the speed. So I think it's a glitch. The approach indicator in cockpit view camera is not there this year, and it has definitely caught me out on a few occasions, and made me get that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I've done it. I think I've done it in my team. You saw me just do it there. But at this point, the 5 seconds is really not good for my race. I mean, I'm going to have to stay a full 2 seconds in front of PD, which is looking harder and harder to do, especially as I have that little moment there. And within 100 meters, I mean, he's within 1/10, 2/10 of me. So that's really not good. You see him get past me there on the straight. We almost made contact there, but I think he did a little evasive maneuver, and we managed to stay out of it. I felt like I was ahead here, and I just felt like he didn't give me a ton of room. I don't know. I mean, that was another one where I didn't report it. I think I kind of got what I deserved a little bit, because I probably should not have stuck my nose in there. I mean, everybody knows those corners are coming up. It's probably not the best place to do that, but the end result is it cost me at least 7.5 seconds, and I'm significantly behind Freaky PD at this point. I think in a different scenario, I mean, let's say I don't have the 5-second penalty, and Joshua Steinberg retires there going into the last lap. I don't know exactly what that was, but let's say that I have the 5-second penalty, right, which is non-negotiable. I got it. Great, whatever. Behind Kung Fu Panda, I'm 10 seconds back, so I would have need to make up. I would have need to make up 10 seconds on him. And do I think it could have been done? Maybe. I think after I made contact with Freaky PD and spun, I pretty much knew my race was over, and I just needed to more or less limp home and just kind of maximize what I could do as far as result, and hopefully get some points, which it looks like, provided I don't mess anything up, I should get 1 point for 10th place. But that was a bit of benefit from Joshua Steinberg retiring, because without that, I don't think I would have been able to get P10. That would have been in P11. But Turtle has 1 second penalty more than me and is 19.5 seconds behind. So I'm not too worried about that. I mean, it looks like P10 is pretty much in hand at this point, but it does feel like it could have been a lot more. I mean, I probably was losing 20 plus seconds per pit stop. My last couple laps on the softs were not really that good. I think I probably could have made the hard stretch from the safety cars. A lot of other people did. I mean, Incident, I'm pretty sure finished P6, P7. I think if I'd stayed on the one stop, I would have been able to beat Kung Fu Panda. I think I probably would have been able to stay in front of Freaky PD. I'm not confident about that, but he ended up with 6 seconds of penalties, and I just exposed myself to another pit stop and getting that 5-second penalty. So ultimately, I think it was poorly handled by me in terms of strategy. I think I probably should not have stuck my nose into the Freaky PD situation, regardless of whose fault you think that was. And I would be interested, actually, if you watch the video, to know what people think about that. I feel like it was a bit more his fault, but again, I think that I should have been smarter about picking my battles, because the race between the two of us was not going to be decided at that corner. I should have tried to stick with him, stay in DRS range, and wait for him to make a mistake or something. So hopefully I'll learn from that for future races. End result here is a P10, which is not terrible. Again, I mean, it's a point, but feels like it could have been a lot more. Maybe that's P6, P7 or something if I'd kept it clean, stayed on the one stop, and the tires are worked out to the end. But ultimately, I think it's a learning experience, especially at Silverstone, when you lose so much time in the pit lane. Of course, I'll do my best to remember that the next time I race here, and hopefully get a better result. But we do have Qatar next, so I'll need to practice for that. But ultimately, I think this was a fun race, good race, a lot of good wheel-to-wheel battling, especially with Incident, and I had a good time. So I'll see you soon.